Hi, this is Shelly Mathis from Elyria, Ohio, CEO and founder of Lift 'em Up Productions, and you are watching Hostal Waters Television.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another episode of Mars versus Venus. I am your host with the most, What's in Store with T. Moore, and boy, do we have a doozy of a show for you today. Fantastic show topics, awesome questions, and a phenomenal cast of characters. The co-hosts, let's start the introduction, shall we?
Voice of Reason.
Natasha.
Manny Hall.
Boy, I tell you, another lovely week. Before we dive into the meat of the show, how's your week been going so far?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Anything interesting happening with the kiddos? Any new neighbors? Anything's going on?
Had a Christmas concert today with the kids, so that was fun. My daughter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where was it?
At her school, Frank Jacinto and Lorraine, and it was nice to see they actually still do regular Christmas carols, because they do, have some new ones, but it was nice to see that they actually had up on a housetop, Santa Claus is coming to town, regular Christmas carols that we understand.
The goody but
right,
oldies.
the ones that I knew from a kid.
That's awesome. I also want to say, I have to give a shout out to Mother Nature. This winter has been pretty lovely, I tell you.
Absolutely.
No snow. It's good with me. Please continue the trend. As you can see, we have a special guest. He goes by the name of Manny Hall. He's a speaker, author, as well as relationship coach. And let's get into your story.
All right, absolutely. So I actually just started doing everything as of last year. What really developed that passion was I went through a nasty divorce. Not so much in the sense of us arguing and fighting, but it wasn't something that I wanted to end, but it was something that was inevitable. Wow. And I started to kind of reflect back on how many other relationships that I've came across with friendships that I've had, people in my family, people on social media, and I just saw that there was a need of people to speak to their hearts in a real relevant way other than all the fluffy stuff. So what I did was back in November of last year, I finished my first book, which was Who's Managing Your Life? And the reason that I wrote that book was honestly, I wasn't managing my own life properly. Okay. And things were chaotic. I had bad relationships back in the day. Didn't have no idea really what I wanted to do with my future. I always allowed somebody else to tell me what I should do. And finally got to the point where I said, in order for me to really be successful, I need to manage my own life because I can't allow everybody else to pick and choose what I should do. And then when it doesn't work, I look back at them and say, why'd you tell me to do that? But in reality, I made those decisions. So after that, I ended up writing a book called 30 Days of Management. It was a piggyback off of Who's Managing Your Life, just to give individuals an opportunity to have a 30-day journey. Each day that they would read a little bit and have some inspiration and encouragement. And then after that, I started to get a lot of messages and started to do engagements around the city, helping people. So I said, well, let me do a relationship book. So I dropped No More Discounts, which I'm definitely excited about that one. And it's realizing your worth within relationships because I feel like a lot of times we provide discounts within relationships. And the premise of that particular book came from thinking about Walmart. And I thought about how crazy it would be if Walmart put a sign up that said no more discounts. And they would lose thousands of customers instantly.
That's true.
And the only individuals that would remain was the individuals that saw the value in the products that they were selling.
Right.
And I thought about, on a personal side, our relationships that we have with people, whether it be man or woman, we provide so many discounts. And then that aura that we give allows other people to feel that they can get discounts in our lives as well. But I said, what if we said no more discounts? So then the only people that really stayed in our lives would be the individuals that saw our worth and value. We wouldn't allow people to disrespect us, belittle us, name call, put us in positions that we know was beneath us. We would say, now the only people that I'm going to allow to stay, to be around me, would be the individuals that really see my worth and value. They would be willing to pay top dollar. And then I thought about companies like BMW, Porsche. They don't offer discounts, but if you look at around the holiday season, you always see the Kia commercial offering discounts.
True.
Come on in, you get this amount, a 99-cent car, or 99-cent down. But I mean, you look at BMW, for instance, and they say, no, you want this car?
Yeah.
You're going to pay top dollar because this is the value. We realize our value, but I think many times within our lives, we don't realize our value.
True.
Like, we allow people to do us and treat us any old kind of way because we feel like if I require top dollar, they're not going to pay for me. I can't sit up here and be within this relationship and say, I'm worth something, I'm valuable. So we discount ourselves in order for people to be around us because we feel like they're only going to like us if they can get a discount.
That's a great point. You guys got anything to add to that? Touch on that?
No, that's very good point.
You know what? I have to just be honest. Like, I looked at my situation as far as the past and past relationships, and I had to ask myself and really look at my situation. Like, I don't think I ever really had a true healthy relationship because I either said, hey, I'm going to take a back seat to this, or I'm going to deal with this, or
Right.
they said, hey, I'm going to deal with him on this. So I had to take counseling
Right.
to get myself together because it's a lot of issues that I buried, and it was a lot of issues that I really didn't see that the counselor actually helped point out to me,
Right.
which in the end is definitely helping me be a better man, a better person, a better friend, a better father. You know, I had to really dig down deep and accept the fact that my boo-boo stink too.
Right, absolutely.
You know, and you know, that's the process that I'm going through now, to try to just be the best me that I can be, so I can offer the best to my children, to my friends, you know, to my significant other,
Right.
you know, the whole nine. So you definitely touched on some really good points. Now, this book, No More Discounts, is this your latest book?
Yes, this is my latest book.
Okay.
I actually released that about a month ago now, and it's just been getting crazy traffic all around the country. And you know, I thank God for the social media following that I have on Instagram and Facebook.
And it is strong.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think what really helps me with those followers is just really the engagement. You know, a lot of individuals that do what I do, they don't like somebody's comment that they post. They feel like I'm the man and you got to like my stuff, and that's what it is. But you know, for me, I feel like we're all working together in order to have healthy relationships. So
True.
when I post questions of the day or different comments, like, I want to hear what other people have to say. Like, I'm not the expert. I'm not the genius when it comes to relationships because I've had my own failed relationships. So let's all work together to help each other form better relationships.
I also want to touch on one question that you posted, which was, could you date an alcoholic?
Okay.
Now, in our previous shows, we all kind of touched on something
Okay,
like that.
okay.
Could you date a crackhead? Could you date
Right.
an alcoholic? Could you date a, a thief? And I had a previous experience with dating a woman that really had drinking issues. She was one way when she was sober. She was another way when she started drinking.
Wow.
And I really thought about that question because no one's perfect.
Right.
And it's really up to you on what you want to deal with.
Exactly.
And looking at it now, I definitely could not date a woman that's a true alcoholic because it's, some people have demons inside of them that come out once they start taking to that bottle.
Right.
And it's a real serious
It is.
situation.
It
And at
is.
this stage of my life now, I definitely don't want to go backwards. Other than you going through the divorce, what was another passion of yours that made you want to start writing books?
Well, honestly, when I look back, I always had this drive in order to help people. It's just really wanting to motivate, wanting to encourage. But, you know, looking back, I had my own struggles. And like I said, it was with past relationships where I just feel like I couldn't get it right. Like, I'm one of them kind of guys that just love real hard. So, you know, I see a nice looking girl, she treat me right. I'm like, I love you. Shoot, you ain't about to leave me. I love you, girl. So that ended up causing a lot of problems in relationships because the girl like, I just met you yesterday. I'm like, but I love you. What are you doing? And she's like, you scaring me away. Like, I can't deal with that. So I really had to learn through that time that the reason I love so hard is because I never felt like I got that love. Like growing up with my mom and dad, both of them were there, but it was one of those situations where they were present but not present.
Okay.
So they weren't really active in my life. They weren't helping with homework. They weren't taking me different places. So I always felt like a loner within my house. Even though I had 3 other siblings, I always wanted that love and attention and affection. So when I felt like I had an opportunity to give somebody else that, unconsciously, I think that I was trying to manipulate the situation to say, well, if I love you, hopefully you won't give me the love that I want.
Where were you in the order of the children? Were you the oldest, the youngest?
The youngest, yeah. So mom, dad, they were exhausted by that time.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point. And I think that's where some of my issues came from. As far as like when you're coming up and you're a young man, in some instances, you're taught to bury a lot of things.
Yeah.
You can fall down immediately and really be hurt. Oh, get up, you're not hurt. You're taught to bury that.
Yeah.
You're taught to bury that pain. As a man, you're taught not to be a chatty patty.
Right.
So the gossip and the ability to really converse and communicate with people, that gets buried.
Absolutely.
So when you get or you deal with another woman in a relationship and a woman says, well, you don't communicate, you don't talk to me, you don't, it's like, well, this is what I've been taught.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to really reconstruct your mind and really have that trust factor. Because in a lot of times, in a lot of instances, it's like as a man or a woman, if you give someone your all, it's like they almost take advantage of that. In a lot of situations. Oh, I know he's going to be there for me at the end of the day, or I know she's going to be there for. People take those things for granted, and I think that becomes a big issue in relationships.
Absolutely.
A huge issue.
Absolutely.
Anybody got anything? Nothing?
No, I'm just listening.
No, but I would agree with that point because I, some time ago, read a book called The Little Boy in Me by a guy named George Bloomer. And within the book, he talked about all of us have this little boy, this little girl inside of us that we're still screaming and wanting attention that we never got when we were little. So many of us are grown men, grown women, dressed up as grown people, but we're still this little child that's trying to get those needs fulfilled that never took place when we were young. So then that's why we act out, and then in essence, like when we screaming and yelling and tripping, we having a temper tantrum.
Right.
That's a great point. Well, we got to pause for the calls for station identity. You are now tuned in to Mars versus Venus. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
Take my hand and start a brand new day. And together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
Where's my husband? Where's my husband?
Stop.
What's she doing? 2,
She was a passenger. I was T-boned on the passenger side.
We just had some wine. I wasn't even drunk, I was just buzzed.
What? You were just buzzed? Well, sir, you didn't tell us that. In that case, she's just fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Really?
No, not really.
Buzz driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Our town, our TV. Amherst City Cable.
Welcome back to Mars versus Venus. I am your host with the most, What's in Store with Seymour. And this segment, we're tossing it to Miss Free with the Cosmic Juice.
Hello, everyone. On this week's version of Cosmic Juice, we're going to get into some good meaty subjects. First of all, I'd like to welcome Manny Hall to the set.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here, and especially during this fun part of the show. You know, we're going to get a chance to talk about some happenings in the media. All right. So the first story I have for you guys today is the Tyrese, the singer, he recently purchased his daughter an island. And it was an investment for him. And of course, on social media, there was kickback saying, we don't know if that was a smart idea. What about him paying for his children's college tuition and things of that nature? I just wanted to check with you guys and see what your thoughts are on that.
Want to touch that first?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a great idea to do that because, I mean, if you look at it, the end result of going to college is to at least be financially stable one day. So, I mean, to set her up with that island, she got bread from the start. So I think she's going to be doing very well. So on top of all those things, I believe Tyrese is pretty good with managing his money. I mean, I also follow him on social media, and I see the way he loves his daughter. So I'm pretty sure he's also set money on the side for her to do whatever she wants to do. But, you know, I think that too many times nowadays we look at our kids and say, well, you got to go to college, you got to do this. But I got 2 baby girls and a little boy, and I want my daughters and my son to do whatever they want to do as long as it's going to be able to not be harmful to themselves and the rest of the world. But, you know, if they want to be an actor, a dancer, a singer, whatever the case, if they want to get their own island, Daddy going to help them get that, you know? So that's my thoughts.
Great point. If you're financially able to buy an island, I think he's a smart enough man to have his kids' education set up. I think Tyrese is a man that has his priorities in order.
Absolutely.
And it's really none of our business what he wants to purchase his daughter. You know, it's his money, you know, it's his life, and that's how I look at it.
Because, you know, 50 Cent did the same thing.
Okay.
Probably about 6 months ago. Not necessarily with an island, but he actually got his son a deal. And his son is like 3 years old, but his son is a model.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
So with all that, his son, they said that deal was like $900,000 for him to become a model. So it's like, if you can set your kid up, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Natasha?
I think, you know, they're financially stable enough. I mean, I follow him on Facebook and stuff too, and I don't see him being a frivolous spender. So I believe he's got money set aside for her. But I mean, he's just wanting to do something special, you know, and I want my dad to buy me an island.
I have to agree too in regards to the college piece. I mean, you know, you have to really consider and take into account what your children want to do. You know, I have 2 boys. My oldest son, he's very book smart. He's all into that kind of stuff, and I know that he will do well.
Right.
My youngest son, he's not so much into school, but he knows how to cook really well. So I think it's all about, you know, fostering and promoting what they're good at, because college isn't always the best answer. We all know people have come out of college with degrees and they're working
Don't do nothing
regular
with it.
jobs. So yeah.
Great point.
All right, so on to the next topic. We had Love and Hip Hop Mendeecees. Do you all follow the Love and Hip Hop New York with Yandy and Mendeecees at all? Have
I've
you heard
saw
that
it,
story?
yeah.
Okay. Well, he has recently been sentenced from a prior drug trafficking case that he had for 8 years in prison. Not long of last season or a couple seasons ago, he and Yandy got married. And questions have come up as to whether that was a wise decision on Yandy's behalf to marry a man and have a baby. They just recently had a baby, knowing that he had these charges and, you know, potential jail time ahead of him. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's going to be her decision. They were together before. You know, they had a child before that. You know, so it's not like he's not going to be in her life, period. It's not like it's a life sentence. It is just 8 years. I mean, 8 years is a long time, but she knows what she was getting into. Plus, he was in there for a while before he got sentenced.
Correct.
You know, so they let him out for that little bit of time, and she waited that long. So she knew what she was getting into to begin with. I personally would not do that. But, you know, that's just something I'm not going to wait for somebody in jail because I only have one life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sitting here waiting for you is not the life I want to do. You made the choice to get caught up in a situation. I'm not going to be punished for that because that's what you choose to do, love or no love.
How about you, Manny?
I think that love can make you do some very crazy things. And, you know, in my book, No More Discounts, I talk about that infatuation stage and butterflies that we feel initially. And then when they go away, we have to ask ourselves, can I really deal with this person for the rest of my life? But I think that sometimes people never leave that infatuation stage, depending on where they are in their life. And then they kind of get stuck and feel like, even though I got money, even though I got fame and stardom, that I can't do any better than this, and I have to stay with this particular man or particular woman. So I feel that she doesn't really realize her worth, because I feel like she's made herself stuck in this situation. It's not that he's a bad guy, because 8 years, like you said, it's not that it's a long sentence, but at the end of the day, in the back of her mind, I believe that she's like, can I do any better? Because if I leave this man, who am I going to turn to? Am I going to go get a postman? Am I going to get a guy working a regular job?
Right.
Like, and this is actually helping my career with me being in the media more. So, I mean, I feel like it's a boost for her career. But at the end of the day, she really got to make some wise decisions, but she probably going to stay with him. Yeah. So it is what it is.
My feelings is, I feel for the kids.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to be away from my kids for 8 hours, let alone 8 years.
Right.
I think that's the bigger issue of all this. Them not seeing their father for 8 years. I think that's tough. You know, that's very tough.
I'm sure she'll take him on visits, but still, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. Right. That love, that waking up in the middle of the night, just walking in the room to get to see him, just kiss him for no reason, to love on him for no reason. I think that's the biggest issue. I'm not the marriage is one thing. The kids is bigger than the marriage to me.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
That's good.
I wouldn't want to take my kids to visit their dad in prison.
Yeah, that's
I wouldn't want. That's a lot. Anything can happen in there. It's just That's a lot.
That's a touchy situation, because you don't want to shelter your kids. You want your kids to get the best dose of a controlled reality.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Because you're showing them the good, and then going through these bars and going through this process, you're showing them the bad.
Yeah.
And they're seeing it firsthand on, this is what could happen if you go left. So I probably would still take, so they can see. Seeing is believing.
Right.
Seeing is believing.
You can turn on an episode of Scared Straight for that.
But seeing is believing. I think them going through that process, it may just, make them go right and steer right.
They are both boys, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
When they just had a daughter. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you would think that he would have made better decisions having some kids.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the end of the day, I feel like me as a father, let's say I had a crazy thought one day and said, look, I'm broke, I'm about to sell some drugs.
Okay.
But now with some kids, I gotta say, I'm gonna go try to think of another hustle, because I don't want to get caught in a situation where, like you said, I'm away from my kids for a certain amount of years, and then they have to now grow up without their father, and the impact that I would have had in a positive light, I would never be able to have now. So it's like, I feel like as a dad, mom, whoever you are, you got to really not only think about yourself, but what decisions am I making is going to affect them.
Especially when they're not broke.
Exactly.
It's not like they're broke, so he didn't have to sell drugs.
That's the gift and the curse at the same time.
It was
because like you said, when you love somebody or you love your children and you're not able to really provide for them like you need to, and if he did have that F on his report card being an ex-felon, that love for that child, that love for your household, that love for, I'm gonna go out here and get it by any means. So I definitely understand the gift as well as the curse with it.
Right.
All right, well, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this a little bit, and we're going to talk about some dumb criminals, okay?
I'll tell you.
So recently on CBSnews.com, they did a story on a gentleman who, or not a gentleman, let me rephrase that, but on a guy who, he was a 30-year-old man, and he was caught on camera stealing a very large drill. The whole process from him putting the drill, stuffing it down in his pants and in the front of his shirt and everything, and it was really crazy. And so he didn't actually get caught at that moment. However, he did get caught after the video went viral. So my question is, what's up with criminals doing these things now, knowing that all of these cameras are watching? There's ample opportunity for that to get caught and go viral, and that's where you're going to get caught at. So I just wanted to kind of, throw a little spin in there and see what your thoughts are on about the dumb criminals.
Well, let me comment on that one. Like the late, great Rick James said, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Gotta be drugs. Got to be drugs.
Yeah.
But I mean, a drill, what are you going to get for that? You're not going to get nothing substantial. I mean...
Maybe he was a handyman.
What are you going to get, $50? I mean, yeah. you're not going to get the value of it because you're, getting rid of it on the street. So it's not really worth stealing it and then going to jail for however many years that you're going to go just for this little rinky-dink drill that you thought was a good idea to steal at that time.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not like
you
you're...
had a job to do.
You ain't got no friends. You can borrow one. You can rent one at somewhere. What are they, hardware stores?
So see, they had a show a while ago about like damaged criminals.
Mhm.
And the one that always stayed in my mind was a guy that filled out the sweepstakes after he robbed a convenience store. So, he got home and they said, hey, why were you so stupid to fill out till I thought I was going to win?
That's hilarious.
They keep me entertained.
Oh, man. Well, we got to get ready to wrap it up. Anybody got any final thoughts?
I just want to say thanks for allowing me on the show. For everybody to want to follow me on social media, my Facebook is mannyhall.com. Well, not mannyhall.com, that's actually my website, but Manny Hall for Facebook. Instagram is Manny_Hall. Twitter is Author Manny Hall. My website is www.mannyhall.com.
All right, Manny. I'm just happy I'm a fan. So.
Thank you.
I just want to give a shout out to the honeybees. They know who they are. And all the people that are, all our viewers. And thanks for, being there for us and supporting us and always tuning in and always sending us questions and comments, positive or negative. I like reading them all. Y'all keep me entertained just as much as I'm entertaining you. So.
And I got to give a shout out to my youngest son for making the national news along with LeBron James' son, Javion Coutinho Moore, a.k.a. Bug. Papa loves you. I'm a proud dad. And like I say about this time all the time, when you're having fun, it gets late early. Peace.
Bye.